Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Another day and another drama channel drama. Today we are going to talk about Keemstar and Onision and part 2 and 3 of that interview. And I just realized that my hair is not fitting in the frame, so it's time to get a haircut when your hair no longer fits in the video. And I know that I am a little late to this video, but unfortunately I was putting out 12 videos in the past 12 days, and this one just kept falling on the back burner, but I finally had some time to record it, so let's go ahead and get into it. If you have not seen my part 1 of the interview, I will place it in a card up over here, as well as link it down in the description below, so please go ahead and check that out as well. Alright, let's go ahead and jump on into part 2 and 3 of this messy interview. So he starts off part 2 of the interview asking Onision questions from Sarah, and then Onision is like, well, that's weird, like, why are you asking me questions from Sarah? And he was basically like, well, I haven't asked you any yet, but can I? And he agrees to be asked these questions by Sarah. And the first question that he asked was basically saying, why did you, Onision, say to Kai that we need to wait until Sarah is 18 before we do anything? And Onision replies back by saying, well, where was the proof that this was ever said? Do you have any proof? And Keemstar says no. Like, he said, I believe it was verbal. Okay, if you're going to be interviewing Sarah to get these questions to ask Onision, why are you not asking her proof of the questions that she has and asking her, like, well, how was this communicated to you or to him or to Kai? Like, again, I believe that Keemstar is 100% just doing this interview for the money, because clearly in the first minute of the second part of the interview, he's asking a question and doesn't have any ability to cite how this information came from Sarah, except that it came from Sarah without saying how everything was communicated. Like, come on, you call yourself a journalist in a news program, but you're not doing any kind of investigation at all. And then the next question that Keemstar asked him from Sarah was, why did he tell Sarah that if he ever told anybody what happened, that she would ruin his career and his family's life by getting this information out? And Onision responded back by saying that she actually said that to him, not him saying that to her, and that Sarah tried to blackmail Onision when they asked her to sign an NDA. Now, my question is, why were you trying to have her sign an NDA? If there was nothing illegal going on in the house, why would you ever need a non-disclosure agreement to be signed? To me, that sounds like you're trying to hide something behind legal actions. Like, that's the whole point of an NDA, is to keep people silent for things that they've seen or have done to them behind the scenes, and then silence them so they cannot talk about it. And then, of course, Onision is saying that Sarah is lying about everything and that she is crazy, and that since she doesn't have physical proof through a text message or some other physical thing, that since it was just verbal, that he can't debunk what has been said. Now, I agree, that is completely true. Since it was verbal, if this happened, then yes, you can't debunk it because you don't have any kind of physical proof unless for some reason you have an actual recording of the conversation. Keemstar then interjects to say that he believes that the public's perspective on the whole situation is creepy, and I have to agree with Keemstar on this one. To have this underage girl coming in and out of your house for months at a time, and then as soon as she turns 18, you end up hooking up with her. Now, is it illegal? No. But is it creepy? Yes. And then in true Onision's fashion, he deflects and does not answer the question. He says, well, what I see is a message from a girl telling me that their mom was beating them, and so I decided to be the hero and say, well, if that's happening, then you can come live with us. The fact that Keemstar did not go back and say, well, can you please answer the question, and say, do you not understand how this appears to be creepy to the public, just shows that he was not prepared to handle this interview and shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. And then Onision goes on to state that nobody brought up the fact that Sarah had been constantly trying to sleep with Kai and send these inappropriate messages to Kai back in the day. Now, here's the thing. If a minor sends an inappropriate text message to an adult, it's not illegal. Now, is it creepy? Yes. But as the adult, you are supposed to then take action and be like, look, Do not send these messages to me. This is inappropriate. Whereas if an adult is sending a message to a minor, then that is illegal if it is of an inappropriate nature. And that's just how the law works. Like, sorry, but that's how it is. So don't try to deflect and put the blame on Sarah for sending these text messages, because there's actually nothing wrong with it. Was it inappropriate and not right? Yes. Is it illegal? No. But once it goes the other way around, then it becomes a legal issue. Now, that's how I am understanding the law when it comes to this situation, but please, if I am incorrect, let me know down in the comments below and I could pin it to the top comment. But that is how I have read the law, and that is how I have understood it. And then Onision goes on to say that when he wasn't saying anything, then people were saying, well, you did all this and this is gross and you broke the law, you need to go to jail. And then when he stood up for himself, then he was called a bully for attacking these victims. Now, here's the thing, is that if you go online and you issue a statement and do it in a proper, calm manner and get your point across, then you'd be fine. But when you make all of these like crazy videos in between and are like screaming at the camera and all this other stuff, then it's gonna come off as bullying instead of just making a single statement and saying, this is not correct, this is all of the evidence, this is why none of this is true. But instead you took all this information and made it into like these tons of different videos where you were acting extremely weird and trying to get more attention for your antics, and it completely backfired and it didn't help your cause at all. And then Onision goes on to state that he filters all of his comments for his videos. Now, I do not believe that comments that are inappropriate, that are saying you should go end your life or you need to, no longer exist, are not comments that should be allowed on the video. But he's literally just allowing positive comments on his video and nobody critiquing or correcting anything that he says in his video, or able to supply alternative evidence saying like, look, this is why what you said is wrong. So he's literally only allowing people who support him to have their comments come through on his videos. Now, I understand that it's his channel and he can do what he wants, but the fact that he is literally just taking out all comments that he doesn't agree with, that they can debunk on his video, and then that way people have to go make videos about them because they can't leave comments on his video saying why he is wrong. So in turn, he's actually causing more people to make more videos about him because they can't leave a comment underneath his video. And then it's at this point of the interview that Keemstar just loses control of the entire situation and Onision takes over. Onision starts talking about views and that he needed to get views however he could because once his Patreon got taken down for leaking that phone number, that he needed to make content on his YouTube channel that would draw people in, which is why he started to make all of those crazy, weird videos. And then he continues on to blame Patreon for taking money out of his pocket because Patreon was saying that he was doxing by not cropping out that phone number. And then he says like, well, that's stupid because just because I didn't remove somebody's phone number on accident and I corrected the mistake, that I was technically fired from my job. And that's not how life works. I'm sorry, but if you've ever worked for any kind of business, if you give out any kind of information, personal information, or leak any confidential information that the company sends out, even if you didn't mean to, you're held responsible for that no matter what. So you would be fired because of that. Like, that's just the way that life works. So yes, was it a mistake? Sure. But the fact that the mistake was made and that information was made public, you then suffer the consequences for it. Doesn't matter if it was intentional or not. That's just life. So get over it. He then continues on by saying that he uploaded a video recently of him actually crying because he was scared and upset about a situation that he has been involved in his personal life, and that people were saying that he was faking it and they didn't believe him, and that they believe all of his other crazy content and think that he actually does have some kind of mental health problems in his other videos, and he then calls these people stupid because they can't tell the difference. Now, here's the thing, is that this is just the typical boy who cried wolf situation. people are not going to believe you when you constantly put out fake content and then you put out actual real content, and they're going to be like, you know what? I don't believe a single thing that you're saying because all you do is go on your channel and troll everybody. So what did you expect when you put out this video? Did you think that people were actually going to believe that you were upset even though you really were? Like, the more fake information that you put out and the more fake content that you put out, people are not going to believe you. So the fact that you're upset that they don't believe you speaks that you need to stop putting out such fake content and only put out things that are real, because no one's going to believe anything that you have to say at this point. Keemstar then brings up Onision's past videos and comments about Shane Dawson, where he accused Shane Dawson of having inappropriate comments towards underage people, and his response was, "What goes around comes around." And I can completely see that in this situation. The fact that you were trying to frame this false narrative on Shane Dawson and now it has come back onto you speaks highly of why you don't spread false information because of things like this. It literally is the exact same thing that you did to him, and now it's happening to you. And then Keemstar brings up the fact that Kai had sent Sarah inappropriate text messages and photos in the past, and Onision was like, well, prove it. It's kind of funny that everybody always seems to lose their proof once they try to call somebody out. But now correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe that Sarah actually did post these screenshots of the text messages from Kai with inappropriate photos that she adjusted to be able to put them out so she didn't get caught for like revenge porn or something. But I'm pretty sure that she did put this information out with the photos of Kai. So I don't know what he's talking about there. But again, if I'm wrong, please let me know down in the comments. And then Onision brings up Chris Hansen in his investigation and asks Onision if he believes that the FBI is actually involved, because Chris Hansen has said that he was in contact with local police, and the local police said that they did have an ongoing investigation going with the FBI. And then Keemstar says, well, what kind of evidence would they have on you? Have you broken any laws? And then this is where Keemstar completely lost control of the interview altogether. Onision then takes a few second pause and says something along the lines of, well, let me say this before I forget, and then goes on this huge rant about the Chris Hansen investigation and Vincent and all this other stuff. And literally this rant goes on, I don't know how long, because this is on Snapchat and not on YouTube, so I don't have like timestamps, but it goes on for a while. And then Keemstar never circles back to the question saying, okay, well, since you got all that out, now tell me, have you broken any laws? And again, this is why Keemstar should not have been conducting this interview. And if he rewatched this interview back and didn't pick up on the fact that he asked Onision this question and Onision literally deflected the entire situation, like, you clearly should not have been conducting this interview because you did not have the capacity to do it, because this is literally a major point that he completely ignored and deflected, and you did not circle back around to it, and it was a big point of the interview. The fact that he didn't even say, no, I haven't broken any laws, really makes me question if he has. And let's be honest, if he has broken any laws, do you really think that he was going to answer the question and say, oh yeah, these are the laws that I've broken? Because then it would literally be on a record and it would be able to be held up in a court of law against him for any of the laws that he has broken. So, like, the whole question, first of all, was just ridiculous. But again, the fact that you didn't circle back around to it and say, will you please answer the question, just really irked me the wrong way, because you're supposed to be this journalist and news outlet that you say, and you couldn't have him answer the most important question of your interview, and you let him get away with not even giving you some kind of response. And after Onision went on his rant about Chris Hansen and a bunch of other stuff, Keemstar then says, okay, well, we need to cut this off because we're at like 47 minutes. First of all, 47 minutes for an interview isn't that long. Like, if you watch any of these Dateline interviews and stuff with people, they're usually about an hour long, and yes, I know that there are commercials and stuff in them, but I'm sure that they sat down and talked to this person for a few hours to be able to get all the content that they needed. So the fact that it was only 47 minutes, and you're like, okay, we need to be done, you could have kept going and got more information. And then as the Snapchat ended and it faded away, Keemstar was saying basically like, oh, we've barely like scratched the surface of the situation. Well, if you feel like you've barely scratched the surface of the situation, why did you end the interview then? You could have literally kept it going and got more information, but instead, you decided to call it quits, and I wouldn't be surprised if in a few months, Keemstar comes out with another interview with Onision to get more of his side of the story so he can get more views and more money. But that is everything for this video and my recap on part 2 and 3 of the Keemstar and Onision interview. I would love to know what you guys think about the entire thing down in the comments below. If you like this video, please make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could hit that big red subscribe button and hit that bell icon and set your notifications to all so you'll be notified of every time that I upload a new video. Alright, that's everything for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!